Whoops. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the May 15th, 2021 Vinyl Treasures Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this sort of beautiful day. It was a little bit warm for me today, but I had to meet I did a record exchange. I haven't spent a lot on records until today. I bought a couple of expensive 45s today. You'll hear them in the upcoming shows, but not tonight. But anyway, I really didn't get a start until 3 o'clock, so I apologize for being late. I'm always late, but that will not be the case starting next year. I can tell you that much. But anyway, I'm here from 10 to 1 a.m. spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Lots of requests tonight, some rarities, so I apologize for being late. But we opened up with a cool, what does North Dakota Bob call it? A tail slapper, I guess we can call it. Opened up tonight's 50s edition with saxophonist Rusty Bryant. With the Carolyn Club Band, his 6th of 12 releases on Randy Wood's Dot record label out of Gallatin, Tennessee, and a song entitled Hot Fudge, pretty cool record there from May 1955. And his first record, I think, was called Castle Rock, came out on the Carolyn label, then Dot Records picked it up, so he remained on Dot Records through 1957, has some pretty cool instrumentals, that one there, as I mentioned, Rusty Bryant, May 55 on Dot, called Hot Fudge. Haven't had Hot Fudge in a while, not that I need it, I really don't, but anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's open up the vocal portion. We open up with a group called the Daps with 1P, D-A-P-S, a group I have no information on, but I do have information on the label. This label out of Chicago, Illinois, called Marterry. It was named after Leonard Chess's son, Marshall, for the Mar, and his brother Phil, Phil Chess, his son was called Terry, hence the label Marterry, but band leader Ralph Marterry, or Marterry, if however you want to call it, he objected for some reason and threatened to sue them, so they had to change the label name, and with the second single, this label, Marterry, became the Argo label. But anyway, let's give a listen to this cool tune as we open up the vocal portion. February 56, the Daps on Marterry. It's called Down and Out.
Well, I'm down and out, I just can't help myself. Well, I'm down and out, I just can't help myself. When I look for my baby, I don't need nobody else. Well, I'm sad and blue and I don't know what to do. Yes, I'm sad and blue and I don't know what to do. I know what's wrong, baby, I need you. Well, I'm sad and blue and I don't know what to do. I know what's wrong, baby, I need you.
I'm telling you, they sound like someone else. I wonder who they. I don't know. I just have that lead singer, his name rolling around my mind here. I got to find out more about that record. Amnon, if you know anything about that, send me an email. February 56 release, the Daps on the Martyry label, Down and Out. And for you collectors out there, I forgot to show you this. I'll show it to you in those of you in the YouTube chat that are watching. That this comes two ways, by the way. There is a shiny label, and there is kind of like a flat black label on this. I have two copies, both styrene. I will show it to you. The other one has a little bit of Q burn. That's why I didn't play it. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue with a couple of up-tempos before we count down the music chronologically here. And this next group, they're out of the Bronx, New York. Their debut single came out on Jerry Blaine's Josie label in April of 54. You may know the tune. I have featured it here. It's called My Plea for Love. But they signed with Sidney Siegel, Sidney Siegel's Dawn label, and they've had two releases on the Dawn label. This is their first, written by the lead singer here. His name is Bill Lindsay. Bill Lindsay on lead here, February 1955. Give a listen to the Starlings. The Starlings on the Dawn label. Another up-tempo tune. It's called Hokey Smokey Mama.
Ooh, hokey smoky mama, get away. Hokey smoky mama, get away. I don't want you to come here to stay. So hokey smoky mama, get away. You're always in my way each night and every day. So hokey smoky mama, get away. Why you always do me the way you do? Treat me mean and dirty and hurt me too. When I call and ask you to come home, you call me dirty names and you went along. I tried to do my best, now I'm tired of your mess. So hokey smoky mama, get away. I wanna thank the man that took you off my hands. So get back, get back. Hokey smoky mama, better change your ways. Yes, you better heed my warning. I'm gonna end your day. Hear me talking now. Have I ever tried to do you wrong? Treat you like a queen sitting on the throne. Yes, you took my love and you went away. Now I got somebody else and you can stay. You know just how I feel. I never will forgive. So hokey smoky mama, get away. I know you can't survive without my line of jive. So get back, get back. Smoky mama, you know I used to care, but I found out in my troubles your loving ain't nowhere. Hokey smoky mama, get away. Hokey smoky mama, get away. I don't want you to come here to stay. So hokey smoky mama, get away. You're always in my way each night and every day. So hokey smoky mama, get away, get away, get away, get away, woo, get away, get away, woo, get away, get away, woo, get away.
February of 55 release there, the Starlings. Bill Lindsay on lead for that one. On Sidney Siegel's Dawn record label, Hokey Smoky Mama is the name of that tune. And in mid-1955, the group would sign with MGM Records, and they would change their name to the Twilighters. Have a couple of good, cool releases on the MGM label. I have featured them here on the Vinyltreasure show. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s edition. And a couple of weeks ago, ago, listener Daniel Kubacki requested the Diamonds. The Diamonds, not the Canadian group. This group is from Harlem, New York. They recorded 3 sides for the Atlantic label. Now, Daniel requested their second release. It was called Two Loves Have I. He also requested the flip side this week. It features Harold Sonny Wright on lead, sending this one out to Daniel. August 1953. Here are the Diamonds on the Yellow and Black Atlantic label with their tune called I'll Live Again.
I'll live again. I'll never cry, even though we've said goodbye. I've been a fool, but I'll come through. I'll live again. My thoughts were yours, you were divine. I thought the stars would always shine, but you are gone and I'm alone. I'll live again. I'm so blue and broken hearted, don't know what to do. I can't help my worrying, 'cause my only dream is you. If you come back, I'll always try. Your tender love made my heart sigh. I don't have you, what can I do? I'll live again. I don't have you, what can I do? I live again. I live again.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, the Great Diamonds. The Diamonds out of Harlem, New York, August 1953 on Atlantic Records. Harold Sonny Wright, he's the lead singer there. I'll Live Again is the name of the tune. Great two-sided, 45, of course. Sonny Wright, he also was the lead singer for the Metronomes on the Cadence label. Imagine a group record on Cadence Records. That is pretty cool. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. If you're new to the Vinyltreasure show, at least on the YouTube site, please subscribe to my station and click the bell to get notifications when I do live shows. Sometimes I test records on maybe an afternoon or something if I'm done with work early, but that hasn't been happening much lately. But I do intend to do that. I will, as I bought some records today, some interesting records anyway. But let's continue here. Let's move into 1954. And a few weeks ago, I played a request for listener George Tompkins. He requested The Strangers, a group out of Brooklyn, New York, with their second of 6 on Sid Nathan's King label. The song was called Blue Flowers, a wonderful ballad, which featured Pringle Sims on lead. Now let's give a listen to the flip side here before I file this one back down in the no humidity basement, as this side features Billy Clark doing the lead here. We go back to April 1954. They're called The Strangers. It's on the King label. The song is called Beg and Steal.
I just found a girl who can make me beg and steal.
Why do you beg
yes,
and steal?
I just found a girl who can make me beg and steal.
Why do you beg
yes,
and steal?
I just got 6 months for stealing that
Steal
Oldsmobile.
that Oldsmobile.
She's my kind of girl and I love the way she loves.
The way she loves.
Yeah, she's my kind of girl and I love the way she loves.
The way she loves.
When we are together, believe we don't read books.
We don't read books.
Yes, I beg still, baby, beg still. 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 I beg still, I beg still, I beg still. Next door's a Cadillac, and no, I still no need coming back. I just found a girl who can make me beg and steal.
Why do you beg and steal?
I just got 6 months for stealing that Oldsmobile. Yes, and she makes me. Oh Lord, she's got me. Oh, help me somebody. I beg still, baby, beg still. I beg still, baby, beg still. I beg still, I beg still, I beg still.
Yeah, those are The Strangers. They're The Strangers on the King record label. April 1954 release features Billy Clark on lead. Song entitled Beg and Steal. Sometimes Johnny G's got to beg for the 45s. I never steal. That is, I know people who have stolen, by the way, that have been kicked out of record shows, believe it or not, some prominent names. Well, I will tell you, not publicly, I can't do that, but privately I can. But anyway, that's a cool Strangers song there. Let's continue here. And next is a request for Evan Blatt. And you would think this next group that had 2 releases on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label would be from the West Coast, but supposedly they were managed by Paul Winley, who of course later would own the Winley label. Lots of great records on Winley Records. But this group is supposedly from Brooklyn, New York. That's what I read. And because Paul Winley wrote, I think, both sides of their first release and the flip of this one, but Evan requested their second release, which is really their hardest to find. This really isn't an easy record to find, but it's from February 55, and they're called the Dodgers. Are you going to be called the Dodgers out in L.A.? Well, eventually the Dodgers that were in Brooklyn, they did move out to L.A., but I got to say this group is probably originally from Brooklyn, New York. These are the Dodgers. I don't know anything else about them, though, but the Dodgers on Aladdin. Evan requested the side called Drip Drop.
Drip drop, drip drop, drip drop, drip drop. Hello, my darling, I'm all alone. That's why I call you up on the phone. Sorry I hurt you. Sorry I did you wrong. Please believe me.
I think about you.
When the teardrops start.
As by request for Evan Blatt there, they called the Dodgers. The Dodgers, their second release on the Aladdin record label February 1955. Drip Drop is the name of the tune. I have another copy of that, kind of scratchy though. But if you're interested, contact Johnny G at Vinyltreasures at AOL.com. It's got some scratches in it, got some problems with it, but I'll sell it. I would. And, of course, the flip side called Catnip. Paul Winley, he wrote that side. So I'm pretty sure that group there from the East Coast. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes we count down chronologically here. We are in the year 1955, and now last week, Evan requested another group from Harlem, New York. They're known as the Keynotes. He wanted to hear their first on Bess Berman's Apollo record label. The song was called Zenda, or it sounds like they're saying Zender, but it was Zenda, written by the lead singer Floyd Adams, who also wrote the flip side. So let's give the flip side a spin before this one goes back down in the no humidity basement. We go back to August 1955, the Keynotes on the Apollo label. The song is called Suddenly.
Felt so all alone. I wanted you to come on. Yes, it was so suddenly. Suddenly, like a bird, you were gone. I was so all alone. Yes, it was so suddenly. The room it seemed so empty, so lighted, it seemed so dull. All alone, everything, you know that you're gone. Suddenly, like a bird, you were gone, and there I was so all alone. Yes, it was so suddenly.
They're liking that one there in the YouTube chat room there. I guess not many going to my Top Shelf Oldies chat room. Everybody's in the YouTube chat room now. But that one there, the Keynotes there, Keynotes August 55. Floyd Adams on lead. He wrote that tune. Great two-sided. excuse me, 45, song entitled Suddenly. Now, after the group's third release, Floyd Adams would leave the group, and he was replaced by Sam Kearney. He also does some great sides for the Keynotes. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go to Philadelphia, PA for this next group, and a request for Daniel Kubacki. In early 1954, this group won second prize at the Apollo Theater Amateur Hour, amateur show. And the owner of Savoy Records, Herman Lubinsky, happened to be in the audience that night, and he signed them right on the spot to his label, which resulted in 3 singles. Now, Daniel requested their third. It features George Tinley on lead. We go back to April 1955. This is by request for Daniel, The Dreams. The Dreams on Savoy. Their tune is called I'll Be Faithful.
I'll be faithful forever and ever, dear. I'll be faithful, faithful to you. No matter what may come, I'll always stand beside you. When days are dark, I'll take your hand and guide you. I'll be faithful. You'll always be in my heart. Always love you, just as I do. There'll be no other lips, no other arms but yours. I shall be faithful, faithful to you.
Darling, there'll be no other lips, no other arms but yours.
I shall be faithful, faithful to you.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, the great Dreams there, with George Tinley on lead. April 1955 release on Savoy Records. I'll Be Faithful is the name of that one. Now, George Tinley, he was also a member of the Modern Redcaps, and later the Dreams would record as Kenny and the Esquires on the Ember label. They have 2 great releases on the Ember label, and also a number of solo releases by George Tinley that are pretty nice, some with groups and some without. But a great vocalist there, Mr. George Tinley. Let's continue now. We move into 1956 as we go back to Harlem, New York, with a request for Joe Shacatano. This group initially recorded as the Dovers. They backed up 2 artists on Bess Berman's Apollo record label, Miriam Great and Lou Bartell, but they would have 3 releases on their own on Apollo as the Vocaltones. Now, Joe requested their first, and it features Bobby Johnson on lead. We go to February 1956 on the Apollo label for the Vocaltones. The Vocaltones going out to Joe Shacatano. The song is called My Girl.
My girl.
please come back to my lonely arms, oh baby. There'll never be no one else but you, 'cause darling, no one else will do. Oh, stay warm with you.
Well, they're liking that one there in the YouTube chat room there. That is a hit there for Joe Shacatano, the Vocaltones, February 1956 on the Apollo record label. My Girl is the name of that one. That's their first release. Their other releases are excellent also, I will have to say. Bobby Johnson on lead. They also backed up another gal I forgot to mention, Brenda Lee on Apollo, but not the Brenda Lee that you're thinking about, that recorded for Decca. That is a different Brenda Lee, and I have that record too, by the way. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. I want to make sure I cue this record up here. I hate these records with I don't backspin them, but it's just such a very little lead-in on this next record. But, excuse me, we are in the year 1956 here. We head to Detroit, Michigan for this next group. They're called the Five Scalders. The Five Scalders, they had two releases on the Drummond label, but their debut single first came out on the Sugar Hill label, but then Sugar Hill quickly changed the name for some reason to Drummond Records. I don't know what the deal was for that, but I'm featuring the ultra-rare first press of this on Sugar Hill, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Johnny Mayfield. Johnny Mayfield on lead. We go back to 1956. These are the Five Scalders on Sugar Hill. A cool bluesy tune here. It's called If Only You Were Mine.
Could never build you a castle of silver, honey, as saint and pages of gold, nor adorn your fingers with sapphires, or touch your hair with gold. I could build you but one small cottage, over which a bright, bright moon would shine. But this cottage would be a castle to me if only you were mine. I would open to you the pages of all my life so that you might see, and I would become more than what now I am and be just what you want me to be. A king or a courtly jester, a beggar or a gentleman fine, but I would be happy no matter what I was if only you were mine.
Erase the sorrows of your life if doing so will make you glad. For I'm willing to suffer an hour and sacrifice pain that you had. Would forfeit all my dreams of come, make your life mortified. See, you would make me so happy if only you were mine. Only you were mine.
who's so wonderful and sweet as you could ever love a fool like me. But I shall go on forever dreaming. Upon dreams of you shall I dine. But I know my dreams would not be dreams if only you were mine. Baby, if only you were mine.
As Rare 45 out of Detroit, Michigan there. Those are the Five Scalders. Five Scalders, Johnny Mayfield on lead, 1956 release. I featured it on the Sugar Hill label, also released on Drummond Records. If Only You Were Mine. If only you could be here in the studios. Maybe after all this pandemic is all gone, I'm going to get some guest collectors here in the studio to come in to spin their 45s. That is on the horizon. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We are in the, excuse me, I had an issue this week. So I don't know what happened. One night I took my shower and sometimes you get like water in your ear. So I said, maybe it'll clear up. I tried to get it out. I went to bed. I woke up the next day. This was Thursday, and I said, oh my God, I can't hear out of my right ear. I said, this is horrible. How am I going to do my show? I can't hear anything. It was bothering me. So I end up putting a little bit of warm peroxide in my right ear. So I'm there and I hear this bubbling and whatnot, and I take it out and it is worse. It is now, I am like totally deaf. I'm like, oh my God. I start panicking. I'm like running around. So I'm like, I got to call the ear doctor. Like the ENT. I think we have a bunch of them here in the Westchester area. So I call up and I'm like, I got a problem. I have to see the doctor today. I can't do this. I can't hear anything. I do a radio show on Saturday night. I got to get this done. Well, we can't see you till Thursday. I said, well, unless you go to another location. So I said, I'll go to another location. Do you have one in? Well, we have one in Rockland and we have one in White Plains. I'm like, where in White Plains? On Bloomingdale Road. I said, can I get an appointment today? So it was like, can you be there at 1:20? We'll send you all the information. I've been there before, like in 2012. Well, you're a new patient. You have to fill all this stuff. I said, okay, send it to me. And I contacted my boss. She said, no problem, go. So I get to this place. And I was very impressed. So the doctor comes in, he goes, what seems to be the problem? I says, well, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's in my ear. I don't seem to have any wax in it. I don't know. I can't hear anything. I'm dying here. Maybe there's something wrong. So he goes, let me see. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So I said, okay, that's good. So he looks in my ear and he goes, okay, don't worry about this. We'll get you fixed up in a minute. So he puts this thing in my ear. He said, you had all this stuff clogging your eardrum there, and he took it out. I'm telling you, I felt like I'm hearing things I've never. These records sound mint to me tonight. I don't know if they sound mint to you, but they sound minty to me tonight. But anyway, that was my quagmire for Thursday, and thank goodness, because my ear was sore. I actually did both of them. So he goes, you got to come and see me. You should come see me between 3 to 6 months. I said, I've never had this done ever in my life. So now I have to be careful of this. Anyway, but he was a great doctor, I have to say. I was very impressed, and I told him about the show because he was a record collector, not of 50 stuff, but he was like, well, I have 10,000 albums. I said, well, that's cool. I said, because I have like 150,000 45s. He was like, well, you got me beat. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. We go back to Los Angeles, California, back to Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label with a request for George Tompkins, a girl group called the Charmers. They had 2 releases on the Aladdin label. Now, George requested their first, co-written by label owner Leo Mesner and the lead singer. Her name is Patty Ann. Patty Ann, she was also the stepdaughter to Eddie Mesner, who was part owner of the label. So she's doing lead here. She also co-wrote this tune here. We'll send it out to George Tompkins, September 1956. The Charmers on Aladdin. The song is called Hes Gone.
So tell me why do I sit and cry, knowing he'll soon return? Oh, why did he go? Oh, why, when I love him so, I pray above, please bring my love, bring him home safely to me. Since he went away, I hope and pray that he's still thinking of me. I will be true, but still I'll be blue until he comes home. How long will it be? How long till he's here with me? But come what may, I know someday we'll be together again. We'll be together. We'll be together again.
As by request for George Tompkins there, nice girl group sound by the Charmers. The Charmers, Patty Ann on lead, September 1956 on the Aladdin label. Hes Gone is the name of the tune. That's the second of two on Aladdin for them. And Patty Ann, she'd have some solo efforts also on Aladdin. Would the Flasher Brothers back her up? I forget who, but Sorrowful Heart, is that the one? I think I have a whipped copy of that, and another one I think that she does. I do have this group's other single. I actually had it pulled to play, so I was going to show. Reed mentioned about the other one. I'll show it to you. It's on the blue label. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here now. In last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for listener Amnon by the Monarchs, a group out of Philadelphia, and their second release on Jack and Bill Angel's Neil label. The song was called Always Be Faithful. But let's give a listen to the flip side here before this one goes back down in the No Humidity basement. Another great two-sided 45. Late 1956. These are the Monarchs on the Neil label. It's called How Are You?
How are you? I ask you, dear, how are you? I want you, dear, how are you? Since I've been gone, how are you?
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Monarchs. The Monarchs, their second release on the Neil label, How Are You, is the name of the tune. Johnny G asking you, the Vinyl Treasure listeners, how are you? Hopefully you're digging on the cool tunes tonight, all on original vinyl. I apologize for the scratches. I wish I had everything in mint. I try to get things in mint. Sometimes it's impossible to, but I try to. Now let's continue here. We continue with the requests. This time, once again, for Joe Shacatano. This group is out of Baltimore, Maryland. They were formed by Bill Pinkney after he was fired by the Drifters manager because he asked for a raise. They said, you're out of here. And he recruited another ex-Drifter to sing lead for this group. His name was Bobby Hendricks. They were known as the Flyers, and they had this lone release on the Atco label. They were together for about a year, I think, but this tune written by Charles Singleton and Rose Marie McCoy. It features Bobby Hendricks on lead. This is going out to Joe Shacatano, March 1957 now. The Flyers on Atco. It's called My Only Desire.
My only desire, my dear, is to make you mine. It's been my desire, my dear, for a long, long time. I don't know how badly you need me. All I know is just how much I need you. For your love is the kind that could lead me to do the things I thought I couldn't do. That's why my only desire, my dear, is to win your heart. It's been my desire, my dear, from the very start. If you say you wouldn't be mine, I would want someone new. 'Cause my only desire is to have no one but you. No one but you. No one but you.
Wow, that's by request for Joe Shacatano. They're the Flyers with the great Bobby Hendricks on lead. What a voice he had there. March 1957 on the Atco label, My Only Desire. What a cool tune that is. The flip side for next week, of course. But Bobby would then, I think after this, he joined the Swallows. The Swallows, Federal Records, I think. Anyway, excuse me. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here. Now, on last week's Vinyl Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for Nick Nicola. He requested The Climbers on Zell Sanders' J&S record label out of the Bronx, New York, with their second release on J&S. It was called I Love You, which was the intended B-side of the 45. I think it was listener Daryl Letts asked if I could flip the 45 over and give a listen to the intended A-side here. So we'll send this one out to Daryl, February 1957. Give a listen to The Climbers on J&S Records. The song is called Train, Car, Boat, or Plane. Take your choice.
Take me home to the island. I were happy over there. Take me home to the island. I don't wanna be alone. I was happy on the island. My first love still is there. So happy on the island, where it's brighter and so fair. Oh, little darling, waiting, will be so happy to see me again. So I'll take train, car, boat or plane to be in my loving arms again. Got a letter from my little one, doesn't say it's someone new. So I'm packing up this evening. Sorry that I can't tell you. Oh, my little darling, waiting, will be so happy to see me again. So I'll take train, car, boat or plane to be in a loving arms again. Got a letter from my little one, doesn't say you're someone new. So I'm packing up this evening. Sorry that I can't take you. Train,
That's by request for Daryl Letts there. That's the intended A-side there of a group, excuse me, called The Climbers there. The Climbers, February 57 release on the J&S record label, Train, Car, Boat, or Plane. As I was contemplating of getting gas for my car, but here in New York, we really weren't affected that much with this gas issue. But I should have got it today because I did use the car a little bit today, but I got a quarter of a tank, so that should get me around. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. You saw me fiddling with this next record because this record is a tad off center, and that bothers me sometimes, and I don't have enough time to line it up right. I have another copy of this, but not as clean as this one, so hopefully this one won't sound too bad because it is a request. And another side that I featured last week on the Vinyl Treasure Show was a request for Mady Campoy. She requested the Tempomentals on Lenora Roop's Ebb label. The song was called Dearest. That was the A-side. It was listener George Tompkins asked if I could feature the B-side of the 45, a song called Burning Desire, which is basically the same song as recorded by a group called the Pyramids for the Federal label in August of 55. And that Pyramids group included two members of this Tempomentals group, Joe Dandy, and the lead singer on this, Melvin White. So this is by request for George, hopefully not sounding too off-center. If it is, I'll try to line it up, and we'll listen to it again. This one from July 1957, going out to George, the Tempomentals on Ebb. It's called Burning Desire.
There's a burning desire wanting you at my side. Yeah, yeah, it's a burning desire deep in my heart for you. There's a fire in my heart, oh, saying we should never part. Yeah, yeah, it's a burning desire deep in my heart for you. Deep in my heart for you. No matter where you go, I want you to know that I love you so.
Burning desire.
Oh, at my side. Yes, it's a burning desire deep in my heart for you. Deep in my heart, deep in my heart
As by request for George Tompkins there. Those are the Tempomentals on the Ebb label, July 1957, Burning Desire, sounding a lot like the Pyramids. The Pyramids on the Federal label. What is it? Deep in My Heart for You. That I didn't put the title on here. Deep in My Heart for You is that Federal release. Same song. Has Richard Berry also in that group. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. And a couple of weeks ago, I played a request for George Tompkins. He requested Reuben Siggers and the Fabulous Cool Cats on the Spinks label. The side that I featured that night was called Those Love Me Blues, which featured Ephraim Siggers on lead. Let's flip the 45 over here, and that features Reuben Siggers on lead. This one from 1957, Reuben Siggers and his Fabulous Cool Cats on the Spinks label. Not an easy 45 to find by any means. It's called Please, Pretty Baby.
Well, the train got my baby and took on down the track.
one there on the Spinks label, S-P-I-N-K-S. That's Reuben Siggers and his Fabulous Cool Cats. That's a cool name there. 1957 release. Please, Pretty Baby. Yes, Bip sounds a little bit earlier than 1957, maybe 1954, 55 sound. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s. Now, last week I featured the Valentines on George Goldner's Rama label with their classic tune, Don't Say Goodnight. Now, the lead singer on that was not Richard Barrett. Instead, it was Carl Hogan, who prior to that release was half of the duo Charles and Carl that recorded for Bobby Robinson's Red Robin label. Now, Carl also recorded on Bobby Robinson's Fury label and was backed up by a group called The Miracles, who were Leon Briggs, Joe Brisbane, Irving Lee, Gale, and Jerry Moore. And this is a request for Amnon, a very rare 45, by the way. This one's not easy to come by any means. It's February 1957. I know because I paid a lot for it. Carl Hogan and the Miracles on the Fury label. It's called I Love You So for Amnon.
I love you so, I love you so, need you more than you'll ever know, more than you know. Why then why, oh why must you go, why must you go, need you more than you know, more than you know. Please come home, please come home, just to hear your voice on the phone, then I'll know that I'm not alone, please come on home. Come put your arms around me, take what you want from me. Come, let us go together. This love is rightfully mine. Need you more than you'll ever know, more than you know. Why then why, oh why must you go, why must you go, need you more than you know.
As by request for listener Amnon there, Carl Hogan and the Miracles. Yes, Nick, a great two-sided 45. We'll play the flip next week, February 1957, I Love You So. That one there on the Fury record label. Sounds a little bit to me, there's a part there where it reminds me of the Turks' I'm a Fool. Just a little part there that does. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. We are in the year of 1957. We continue with the requests. This is another good one requested by Joe Shacatano. The tune written by Paul Winley for Tony Middleton and the Willows. This one came out on Bill Buchanan and Dickie Goodman's El Dorado label out of New York City. We go back to April 1957, El Dorado Records. Going out to Joe Shacatano, Tony Middleton and the Willows. The name of the tune is called Only My Heart.
may look happy, oh, but I'm sad. I lost the one love I thought I had. That's how it goes. Nobody knows, only mine. I left the loudest out with the crowd. Although she left me, I still act proud. That's how it goes. Nobody knows, only mine. Sometimes when I'm all by myself, I cry and cry till there's no tears left. Oh, that's how it goes. Nobody knows, only mine. Only mine. Only mine.
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, Tony Middleton and the Willows, April 1957 release on the El Dorado label. Only My Heart is the name of the tune. Now, so the Sunday night DJ here on Tom Shelfoldi's Dave the Rave, he has his Relics and Rarities Saturday nights. Sunday nights, 9 to midnight. He said, John, you want to talk to somebody? I have to make a phone call. So he gets me on a three-way phone call. Well, it's a three-way dial-up, and it's like, hey, Tony, how you doing? This is Dave the Rave. I said, Dave, this is Tony Middleton. I was talking to Tony Middleton about his records. I was telling him my favorite songs by the Willows, and I was asking him if he had all his records. I don't think he has them all. And he was talking about his later releases, like as a solo artist on Big Top and on United Artists and a couple other labels. But he wasn't. I was talking about his releases on the Allen label, on the PD label. So he wasn't really talking about those early sides, but I was like, oh, church bells are ringing is like, a great tune. It's a great record, and I have it on a 78. It sounds great on that. And we were talking there for a while, so I got to thank Dave the Rave for having me speak with his buddy Tony Middleton. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Another side I played last week was Georgia Harris and the High Tones, a request for listener Mark Goldfarb. The side I featured was I Want to Kiss You, a cool jump I opened up the show with. Then it was listener, I think Andrew Turner. He asked if I could flip this 45 over. This was really the intended A-side of the record on Steve Samuel's High Tone record label. As I think originally this record came out, it was flipped with Chinese Boogie. I think that was the case, which I do have. But I had this copy here, so I figured we'll give it a flip. We'll give it a listen here. We're going to send this one out to Andrew Turner, November 1958. These are the High Tones on High Tone Records. It's called I'm a Fool.
I know I broke your heart, for this I must pay. How I remember, dear, the night you went away. Yes, I broke a lover's rule, for this I've been a fool. I've been a fool. but I played the game too long, and now I broke a lover's rule. For this I've been a fool. I've been a fool. Well, darling, yes, I wipe away the tears as I dream of you every night. I remember how things would have been, my dear, if only I treated you right. Yes, this loneliness, my darling, is driving me insane. It reminds me of the things I did and the way you call my name. Yes, I broke a lover's rule. For this I've been a fool. I've been a fool. Loneliness, my darling, is driving me insane. It reminds me of the things I did and the way you call my name. Yes, I broke a lover's rule. For this I've been a fool. I've been a
As by request for Andrew Turner, those are the High Tones. High Tones on Steve Samuel's High Tone record label, November 1958, the song entitled I'm a Fool. The original flip side of this is Chinese Boogie, and the second issue of it, they flipped it with the Georgia Harris song. And unfortunate that this record company, there was a major fire and they lost everything. They lost all the masters and everything from that fire in, I think it was Harlem, New York, where they were located. I'm pretty sure. But a lot of the records were destroyed. There was some quantity on some of the records. There's some blues records that I think Louis had a bunch of the stuff that I know I got my Chinese Boogie from him, and I forget where I got this copy here, but I have the lyrics, which is a rare record. I think the other one is it the Corsairs? I don't know. One of them is, there's an ultra rare record on that label that I do not have that I am looking for. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here, and we are in the year 1958 now, and up next, a group from Knoxville, Tennessee, first recording as the Five Pennies on the Savoy label in 1955, but when group member Clifford Curry left the group, he was replaced by Benjamin Washington, and the group signed to the Arrow record label, first backing up Freddie Scott on his release on this label, Arrow Records. Then they had their own release, co-written by the lead singer Benjamin Washington. This is the intended A-side, and this is a request for listener George Tompkins. George Tompkins requested this tune from February 1958. They're called The Chimes on the Arrow label. The tune is called A Faded Memory.
Darling, when I'm gone, will you still love me? Will I be your love or a faded memory? Darling, say your love is mine always, 'cause darling, I love you so. Darling, when I'm gone,
Those are the chimes by request for George Tompkins on the Arrow label. A Faded Memory is the name of the tune. That's a cool tune. February 1958 release. We move on here, still in the year 1958, with a request this time for my number one California listener, Mady Campboy. She requested great two-sided girl group sound on Sid Nathan's Federal record label, written by Bernice Williams and Sonny Thompson. Now, Bernice Williams was a songwriter and group coach for many of the Chicago groups, and Sonny Thompson, a prolific producer for many acts both in Chicago or Cincinnati. So this girl group is either from Chicago or they are from Cincinnati, where the label was Sid Nathan's Federal record label. But I have no concrete information about this girl group, but I just love this tune. We're going to send it out to Mady Campboy by request. We go back to December 1958. Give a listen to the Charmettes. The Charmettes on the Federal label. It's called School Letter. Girl group sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Mady Campboy, the Charmettes. Their December 58 release on the Federal record banner. School Letter is the name of that one. That is a cool tune. And the flip side is called Johnny Johnny, a record I first heard on the Gus Gossard show. I actually taped it. I used to have like a little it was bigger than a transistor radio, but I had one of those, the tape recorders. You put the cassette in and you have to hold down record and play at the same time. And I had a little microphone, so I would listen to Gus Gossard on that little radio, and I'd be like, when I first heard the song, I couldn't turn play and record quick enough, and I would miss the beginning of the song. And sometimes he didn't give who what the name of the song was. He'd just say the group, or he'd just give the song, and it's like, what was that record? I don't know that record. And it was the flip side of this record when I finally found a copy for like $50, paid for that record. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. And up next, a request for Amnon. I don't know much about this group. They're called the Royal Notes, and they had 2 releases on Irvin Litkey's Kellett label out of New York City. And according to Louis Silvani, lots of releases on this Kellett label are Hungarian records, but I don't have any. I think I have 3 or 4 releases on, actually, maybe 5 releases on this Kellett label, because it was around for a while, and I got a couple on orange and red, but at least the group ones are on this like kind of lime green label, and some rare ones here. But this group's first release was called 3-Speed Girl. They followed it up with this one in July of 1958. It's by request for Amnon. July 58, the Royal Notes on the Kellett label. It's called You Are My Love for Amnon.
Bye, 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 love.
Kitty Leeds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Amnon there. The Royal Notes, July 1958 on the Kellett label, You Are My Love. Usually some of the flip sides, they're either Phil Johnson and the Duvals, or I think it's their regular record. It was weird about that Phil Johnson record, although I like I Wanna Be Free by Phil Johnson and the Duvals, but I can't get it on the club, what is that, the club label that it first came out on. I have it on the LaSalle label, I think, but I like that record too. Johnny G babbling on here on a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1958, and last week I played a request for Amnon. He requested the Versatiles, who were not the Del Vikings. They are a totally different group out of Mount Vernon, New York. Now, Amnon Amnon requested the intended B-side of that 45 on Atlantic. It was called Passing By, but I think it was George Tompkins that mentioned that I should flip the 45 over as we give a listen to the intended A-side. This is going out to George. It features Ben Sands on lead. This one from October 1958, The Versatiles on Atlantic, and the song is called Crying.
Oh, I crying, tears up in my eyes. I'm crying, 'cause you said goodbye. You left me sad and blue. Now I'm crying over you.
That's by request for George Tompkins there. What a great record that is by the Versatiles. Group out of Mount Vernon, New York. Ben Sands on lead, October 58 release. That's their only release. Came out on the Atlantic record label. Crying is the name of the tune. Johnny G not crying on a Saturday evening. Hopefully you're not either. Unless sometimes when I get people looking for some of the 45s, when I do my all 60s show, I usually, a lot of the guys, they're going on eBay and Discogs to go buy the 45s, trying to find them cheap. I'm sure you can get a lot of these records much cheaper than when I was buying them back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. But, after a number of years, it takes a long time to accumulate a lot of these records. A lifetime for me, and I'm 62, so I've been collecting since, I guess, I was in high school where I started, but it takes a long time to find these records, and sometimes you will never find them. I was talking to Greg Surik today about some records you just never see anymore. Either they're in collections and they were sold, but they're not like out in the wild. You gotta, either you'll be lucky maybe to find them. Sometimes somebody associated with the label and whatnot, you may be able to find them. And sometimes maybe somebody finds a box of 25 and they show up, like with that Grand Prix on Poncho. A whole bunch of things sometimes. I have some stories to talk about. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. And speaking of the Versatiles, up next is a flip side from last week, which was requested by Amnon. He requested Sunny Day and the Versatiles. Amnon requested the A-side. The song was called Speedalac, and I think it was listener Andrew Turner and Daryl Letts asked if I flip the 45 over as we give a listen to the B-side here. So we're going to send this one out to Andrew and Daryl. This one from February 1958. It's Sunny Day and the Versatiles, and Sunny Day and the Versatiles, they were out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sunny Day, his real name is David Fortalski, because he wrote this song. You can see his writer credit. And the Versatiles are the late Del Vikings with Chuck Jackson as a member. These are the Del Vikings backing him up. So this is going out to Andrew and Daryl. February 58, Sunny Day and the Versatiles on Checker. It's called Half Moon.
Shine upon the one that I love. My baby only gives me half of her love. You devil half moon, devil half moon, half moon. Why can't you give our old love a new start? My baby only gives me half of her heart. You devil half moon. I love her so, I can't let her go. Half moon, can't you see? You must realize these are tears in my eyes. Turn to fool and bring her back to me. Half moon, why must you shine upon the one that I love? My baby only gives me half of her love. You devil half moon, devil half moon. My baby only gives me half of her heart. You devil half moon, devil half moon. You devil half moon, devil half moon. You devil. Devil half moon.
That's going out to Daryl and Andrew there. Sunny Day and the Versatiles. February 1958 release on the Checker label, Half Moon. That's the flip side to Speedalac. Yeah, cool tune. That was out of the library of WPEP. I went up to a Waterbury, Connecticut show sometime in the 1980s, and I think I told this story before. A dealer, he's no longer with us, died terribly in a head-on collision. Jerry Smith was his name. He was from Boston, and he somehow got a load of records out of that radio station out of Maine, WPEP. So I got there early, and he had about 6 boxes of records. So I started looking through the records. I was pulling out, I mean, that's some cool records like the Sheiks on Amy, the Radiants on, what's that tune, Ra-Cha-Cha. They had the Clickettes. They had a whole bunch of nice records, all in nice shape. So Dick Blackburn comes walking by, and he goes, "Are you buying all those records?" I said, "Yeah, I'm buying all these records." It was a big pile up of records, and it was a 4-figure deal that I did, but Jerry was happy with it. I was happy with it. He gave me a pretty good discount. That's what you have to do when you're buying in quantity. Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. Now, last week I played the wrong song for George Tompkins. I have to blame my administrative assistant, Charlene Whiteside. Charlene, very instrumental with helping Johnny G do the show. She does a lot of the research for me during the week as I get the requests in. I filter them to her, and she copied in the wrong song, probably copied it from an older show that I played it on, and she updates a lot of the research. So when I was putting together the show, I said, oh, this is unusual, because George rarely requests these really fast records. But I said, okay. So, of course, not knowing, I sent it out, and John goes, well, George goes, I requested the flip. So I'm like, whoa, what happened? So Charlene just copied, and when she copied in the data, she forgot to change the title. So that's how that happened. But we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it tonight, as I featured the debut single for Mr. Lenny Welch on the Decca label. I played the jump side, Rocket to the Moon, which I like. It's a cool up-tempo, but George requested the flip side, which is a wonderful ballad, and I had all intentions of playing the flip side. That is for sure, either way. But it's Lenny's debut single, so by request for George Tompkins, Lenny Welch and an uncredited group. And this is the first of two he did on Decca, June 1958. Lenny Welch on Decca, going out to George. It's called My One Sincere.
Is it your kiss, my dear, that sends echoes ringing in my ear? Or is it your voice I hear? You're my one sincere. Just you and I alone, my dear. You're my one sincere. Could it be your love or thoughts of you I'm thinking of, guided by the master above? Surely just you and I alone, my dear. You're my one sincere.
As by request for George Tompkins there, that's a debut single for Mr. Lenny Welch. Lenny Welch, June 1958 on the Decca label, My One Sincere. And he's from Asbury Park, New Jersey, still actively singing today. He is a Facebook friend of mine and wishes me happy birthday. It's pretty cool that that is him with a group there, although George Tompkins mentioned that Lenny said that the group was not in the studio with him, so they probably Decca dubbed that in, and maybe they are the Vestels that recorded on Decca. I think the other girl group was the Vocaltones, I think is another group that recorded on the Decca label. It couldn't be the Shirelles because they were, I think they already may have left the label by then. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We move into the year 1959 with a flip side from last week requested by Daryl. This group out of Detroit, Michigan. Nick Nicola requested the Chancellors on the Storm label, and Nick requested the side called My Thoughts to You, an excellent ballad. The flip is a jump here that Daryl requested. We go back to May 1959, the Chancellors on the Storm label. The song is called I Really, Really Do.
Oh, she's my baby, she's my honey, she's my sugar, she's my doll. I love her, oh yes, I really do. Oh yes, she's fine and she's kind, she'll be mine all the time, 'cause I love her, oh yes, I really, really do. When we met, I smiled and said, how do you do? She dropped her head and lovely said, fine, how are you? Oh, she's my baby, she's my honey, she's my sugar, she's my doll. I love her, oh yes, I really, really do. When we met, I smiled and said, how do you do? She dropped her head and lovely said, fine, how are you? Oh, she's my baby, she's my honey, she's my sugar, she's my doll. I love her, oh yes, I really, really do. Really, really do. Really, really do. Really, really do.
As by request for Daryl Letts, that group out of Detroit, they're called the Chancellors. It's on the Storm label, May 1959 release. I Really, Really Do is the name of the tune. Johnny G really, really do play original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m., sometimes overtime. We got a lot of requests to fill in tonight, and Johnny G was late, as I always am. But let's continue here. Up next is a request for Nick Nicola. This singer, I think he was a member of the Sandmen that recorded for the OK record label in 1955. I think they also backed up Brooke Benton, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Brooke Benton on the OK label. But his name is Walter Springer, and this is on K. Williams' Kaiser label out of Philadelphia, PA. Now, K. Williams was a Philly disc jockey, started back in 1943, but he worked for WDAS and WHAT in Philadelphia Philadelphia, and also a station in New Jersey. I think it was WSSJ. But he also owned a record store, and he owned two labels, the Junior label and this label, the Kaiser label. So this is by request for Nick Nicola, April 1959. Give a listen to Walter Springer and a group on the Kaiser label. The song is called Everything.
Everything, yes, everything. That's just what you are to me. My life, my hope, and all my dreams. You are my destiny. Oh, everything, yes, everything. The answer to all my prayers. And I feel just like a king, knowing there's someone who cares. Oh, the night you told me you loved me, my heart was so full of joy. Darling, you made me so happy, like a child with a brand new toy. Everything, yes, everything. You're part of all that I do, and I live just to give everything to you. Everything to you.
As by request for Nick Nicola there, nice sound by Walter Springer and a group from April 1959 on the Kaiser label, a song entitled Everything, which I think is the B-side of this. Or let me see, I don't know if it was the B-side because there is the other side, One More Step. Let's see, this is number 616, because the other side here, One More Chance, there's another one with a different flip, not with Everything, but this is the better side by far. That's a great request. Thanks for requesting that one, Nick. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we got a request for listener Cheryl Morgan as we head to Campbell, Ohio for the Etzels. Had releases on many different labels: Dub, Tammy, Ember, Dot, Capital, Twin, and even Morris Levy's Roulette record label, which I think it was, this was recorded for Tammy Records and purchased by Morris Levy. I can tell from the writer here, Tony March, he owned the Tammy label, but this one's on Morris Levy's Roulette record label by request for Cheryl Morgan. It features George Jones Jr. on lead. We go to May of 1959, the Etzels on Roulette for Cheryl. It's called Do You Love Me?
Do you love me? Do you love me?
That's by request for Cheryl Morgan there, the great Etzels. The Etzels, originally out of Campbell, Ohio. That one there, Morris Levy's Roulette record label, May 1959. Do You Love Me is the name of that tune. I remember when I found that one out in the wild sometime in the late 1970s. Thrilled to find that record for 25 cents or 10 cents, whatever it was. And it was a disc jockey copy too, so I was excited about that. Johnny G babbling on here. All these original 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies. You can also go to my YouTube account, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. You can tune into the show on YouTube. You can see all these cool records in their original format. I don't know of anybody else that does that, but anybody can play an MP3 or a CD, but not many can show you the real records, especially with all my years of collecting. It's not that easy to do. I wish when I started into this hobby, I wish I could see all those collector shows and the guys playing their originals. Would have been really cool. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We continue with the request. This one for Joe Shacatano. He requested the Dukes. This group is out of California, a West Coast group. There are two other groups called the Dukes, one out of Oklahoma, another one out of Columbus, Ohio. But this group had two releases on the Flip label. Let's give a listen to their first, written by the lead singer. His name is Andre Goodwin. By request, going out to Joe Shacatano, February 1959. This is on the Flip label, the Dukes with Looking for You.
So tired, looking for you, looking for you. No one else will do. No one will do. I love you so much. I do. So much. Living in the past. How long will it last? I need you so much. It's true. So much, dear Lord, in heaven above, send my love, send my love, for I know I'll never be free, never be free, but maybe she'll come to me, she'll come to me with open arms and say she's lonely too. Looking for you. Oh, so tired, looking for you.
A group called the Dukes, by request for Joe Shacatano. February 1959. It's on the Flip record label. Looking for You is the name of the tune. Now, the group included former bass of the Robins, Bobby Nunn. He was the bass there. Former coaster Leon Hughes, a member of this group. And three members of the West Coast Turbans/Sharp Tones were in this group. Billy Brown, Bernard Carpenter, and the lead singer Andre Goodwin. Great request there by the Dukes. Thank you, Joe Shacatano, for requesting that. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. If you want to send me your request, please send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I don't have them all, but I do have some. And sometimes I surprise myself. I really do. But to thank you all for all your contributions to the show. Now let's continue here. Now, speaking of Joe Shacatano, last week Joe requested Nikki St. Clair with the Five Trojans and the ballad side of their Edison International release. It was called Creator of Love. I think it was listeners Andrew Turner and Braden McCallow requested the flip side here. So we'll send this one out to Braden and Andrew from July of 1959. It's Nikki St. Clair with the Five Trojans on Edison International. The song is called I Hear Those Bells.
I hear those bells. I hear those bells. I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, and then I know.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, I really love you so.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, tomorrow is our wedding day. Oh,
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, they really ring.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, and then I know.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, tomorrow is our wedding day. I hear those bells, they're ringing clear. I hear those bells, I know my dear. I hear those bells, they're ringing out. Well, I feel right now like I really wanna shout.
I hear those
Oh, I hear those bells, and then I know.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, I love you so.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, tomorrow is our wedding day. I hear those bells, they're ringing clear. I hear those bells, I know my dear. I hear those bells, they're ringing out. Well, I feel right now like I really wanna shout. Oh, oh, I hear those bells, and then I know. I hear those bells, I love you so.
I hear those bells.
I hear those bells, tomorrow is our wedding day.
I hear those bells.
Oh, oh, oh,
I hear those bells.
oh,
I hear those bells.
As by request for Andrew and Braden there, Nikki St. Clair with the Five Trojans, July 1959 release on the Edison International label. I Hear Those Bells is the name of the tune. What is it? It was Warren, I think, that said any song, or maybe it was Warren's wife, I forget, that said any song that had bells in the title was a good tune. Maybe it is, but I found out today that presses exist where Claire is spelled with an E. Nikki St. C-L-A-I-R-E. Mine is just C-L-A-I-R. So I don't know which one is first or whatever, but that's how I have it. Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. And up next, a request for Nat Papagallo, listening down in Naples, Florida, as this group was formed in South Florida back in 1986, believe it or not, by Frank Iovino. And they were keeping the 1950s vocal group harmony style alive and singing in the 1980s at the time. The first two releases, I think, came out on Avenue D Records, and then they did three for Dave Antrell's Classic Artists label. I remember when Dave Antrell came here to the East Coast, he went on Don K. Reed's doo-wop shop on WCBS FM, and he was promoting these records, I think with an LP, I think, at the time. And this Nat requested their first, a tune written by Dave Antrell, and it features Frank Iovino on lead. So this is by request for Nat. This one actually released in April of 1990, but it has a 1950s sound. These are the Five Boroughs on Classic Artists, going out to Nat. The song is called Apart.
Da, 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 da.
I have to agree with Reed. Lots of these recordings on the Classic Artists label are pretty nice, and they're actually, even though this group, the Five Boroughs with Frank Iovino, I think he has since passed away, but they have that great sound. They also used other groups, the Feathers, the who else? A whole bunch of groups, especially California groups, Cleftones, I think the Channels, the Skyliners, Margot Sylvia and the Tune Weavers, lots of nice releases. I would pick them up if I can get them for $1 or $2. I would see them on some lists, or I see them at some of the shows. I wasn't sure which ones I had, but I just would buy them. They were cheap enough. If I had duplicates, I bought them. But anyway, that they're going out to Nat. Nat, you got that in your jukebox? Released in April 1990, the Five Boroughs on Classic Artists, a song entitled Apart. Johnny G not apart yet, not till 1 a.m., and probably a little bit of overtime as we get through these requests. And speaking of requests, here's one for Nick Nicola. This group is out of Long Beach, California. This song, Reed, I saw you mention that in the chat room, but this song actually came out 4 different times. 4 different times on Lou Bedell's Dore record label. Initially came out in July of 1959, then again in February of 1961, then again in March of 1964, and believe it or not, one more time in July of 1967. And I'm featuring the true first press, which is really not easy to find on the light blue Dore record label. And right, Reed, hard to find, pretty clean, because mine isn't that clean. But anyway, this This is by request for Nick Nicola. It features Joe Sprewell on lead. We go back to July 1959. These are the Debonaires on Dore with their tune called Every Once in a While.
Every once in a while, you will think of me and of our love that could never be. But you were so wise, and you couldn't realize that you could be wrong once in a while. So you went on your way, and when you found you cared, there was no love to be shared. So when you left, you threw it all away, and every once in a while
Sound of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show by request for Nick Nicola there. Those are the Debonaires. Debonaires, Joe Sprewell on lead, July 59. That's the first press, the true first press on Lou Bedell's Dore record label. It comes on that kind of like that aqua blue, that light blue color. Every Once in a While is the name of the tune. Johnny G here, continuing with 1950s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. Actually, we move into 1960 now with a request for Matey Campboy, another girl group sound here out of Los Angeles, California. The group consisted of Joyce Chappell, Marie Love, and Carlotta Robertson. Collectively, they were known as the Chiffons, not the He's So Fine group that recorded for Laurie Records. These gals are out of California, and Matey requested the intended B-side here. So we go back to August 1960. It's on a label called Big Deal Records out of Los Angeles, California. These are the Chiffons with Do You Know? This is going out to Matey.
Do you know of the place where hearts can be mended? And if so, please let me know.
By request from Matey Campboy there. Those are the Chiffons. That's the B-side of the 45 August 1960 release on the Big Deal record label. Do You Know is the name of the tune. Now, this group also recorded as the Unforgettables on the Colpix record label and also as the Sachets on the Alfie / Zen label, excuse me. Johnny G here. We continue here. We are in the 1960 now as we go to Flushing, New York for this next release by request for Amnon, as this group had 3 releases on George Goldner's Gold Disc label. Amnon requested their debut single, which became their biggest hit. And they were managed by Artie Ripp, who co-wrote this tune, and it features Neil Stevens on lead. This charted number 29 on Billboard, number 38 on Cashbox, was a big number 1 record on KUDU in Venture, California. This is going to be the biggest hit that I play tonight. I normally do not feature hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Occasionally I do, but I like this song, so this is by request for Amnon. And I'm going to send it out to my girlfriend Barbara because they're singing about her. So we go back to January of 1960. These are the Temptations, Neil Stevens and the Temptations. It's on the Gold Disc label. I have this on a West Coast Monarch press. That's how I want it. I don't want that stinking styrene 45. I like it on hard vinyl. These are the Temptations going out to Amnon. It's called Barbara. And for my Barbara.
Barbara, 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 my love.
If Barbara were an angel, I pray she'd watch over me. If Barbara were a queen, her servant I would be. If Barbara would be mine and wear my high school ring, then I'd climb the highest mountain, do just anything. If Barbara were the winter chill, I'd stand out in the cold. If Barbara were a tree, her branches I would hold. If Barbara would love me and say that she'd be mine, I'd swim the deepest ocean, stop the hands of time. Barbara, please say that you're in love with me. Don't let me lead this life of misery. Whoa, let me kiss your tender lips and know your secret charms, and let me know what real love is and hold you in my arms. And if this love I pray for, should it all come true, then with all my heart, dear, I'd love no one but you. I'll hold you in my arms for now and evermore, and we will walk together through love's sacred door. Barbara, Barbara, my love.
January 1960 release there for the Temptations, Neil Stevens and the Temptations. That's by request for Amnon. That's the biggest hit I'm going to play tonight on the Gold Disc record label, George Goldner's Gold Disc Records. Barbara is the name of the tune. I want to send that one out to my Barbara Moreau. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening, and up next I have a battle of the groups. Yes, George, I am taking your suggestion for this. What delayed this whole thing was I couldn't find this 5 keys press of this record, but I finally found it. But I have a couple. I've had this I wanted to do this for a couple weeks now since I found this record, but I was looking in the No Humidity basement for this one, and I finally found it. But this is a battle between the 5 keys and the 5 satins, and I will play them one after another. They're both doing the same song. The name of the tune is called I Didn't Know, a tune written by Charlie Singleton. Now, both releases of this, they came out in June of 1960. The 5 keys recorded this March 24th of 1960. Thomas Threat, he's doing lead. It came out on the King label. The 5 satins recorded about a month and a week later on May 5th of 1960, and Fred Paris, I think he is the lead on this, and this was released on the Cub label. Again, they both were released in June of 1960. Now, this is the battle of the groups. I will play them consecutively, and you can rate which one you like. You can type it into this chat, the YouTube chat room. You can type it on Facebook. You can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com, or you can also do it in the Top Shelf Oldies chat room. So which one do you like better? This is a battle of the groups. I haven't done this in a while, but it was a suggestion by George Tompkins. George Tompkins suggested it, so we're going to send both these songs out to him. Anyway, we'll send it out to George. So up first is the 5 keys. The 5 keys on King with Thomas Threat on lead, their version of the tune I Didn't Know.
Something's come into my heart, filling it with desire. This something's been warming my heart, just like a slow burning fire. But forgive
filling it with desire. Something's been warming my heart, just like a slow burning fire. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. Here's my hand to heaven above. Now I know it was your love. It's always been you all the time, but I was too blind to see. When you put your sweet lips to mine, I should have known you were born for me. But darling, if you can forgive, I'll make it up to you. Believe me, as long as I live, I will be faithful and true. For I didn't know I love you. I didn't know I love you. Here's my hand to heaven, it's true. Now I know that I love you.
There you go. That's our Battle of the Groups. I'm not going to tell you. I'm still compiling, but it looks like excuse me. It looks like a landslide for one of the groups. So we will continue here. I'm going to still compile here. So there you go. We had a Battle of the Groups, the 5 Keys and the 5 Satins. Interesting. With the same tune there, I Didn't Know. Both released the same month, June of 1960. The first one with the 5 Keys on King, the second on Cub Records. So I got people voting for both. Interesting. Anyway, I will get back to you, but let's continue here. Let's stay in 1960 with a request for Emnon as we head back out to California. Again, this record had a George Mottola involvement. I consider George Mottola the West Coast George Goldner. Now, this label is Venice Records, owned by, or Venice. No, I think Venice. Yeah. No, Venice or Venice? Daryl, how do I say it? Venice. Owned by both George Goldner and Lee Silver, and the master would later be sold to Strand Records in 1961, which also put this out. But I'm featuring the first press on the Venice label. So this is by request for Emnon, 1960, the group called The Chips on Venice Records. It's called Darling, parentheses, I Need Your Love. It's going out to Emnon.
Darling, I need your love. Darling, I need your love. Darling, I love you so. And I want the whole world to know
As by request for Amnon there, those are the Chips. The Chips from 1960 featured at Venice. I said it wrong, not Venice. Venice Records is the name of is the label. The song is called Darling parentheses I Need Your Love. Great cha-cha sound that I like too, and that's going out to Amnon. I have the results. I have the results of the I think this is what I have. I have that the Five Satins, George didn't vote. I didn't think, and I pronounced his name wrong. That's what I did the last time. I apologize, George. But anyway, the Five Satins, Charlene and VLN in the YouTube chat voted for the Five Satins, and these were the 5 Keys votes: Donald, Reed, Andrew, Nick, Joe S., Mady, and Fred. I think I got them all. So anyway, the 5 Keys. If I had to vote for that record, I would vote for the slightly faster version, which I think was the 5 Keys version. So, but I do like them both. I do think they're equally as good. And a couple of them, Bobby in Texas, I think voted for both, and a bunch of other people voted for both. It's really a great record, both. There you go. James also. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here. I didn't get to show you this next record, but I will show it to you after I play it. And it is a as I lose my place here, it is a request for Nick Nicola. We head to Wilmington, Delaware, to Vince Rago's Ritchie label. This group had 3 releases on the Ritchie label, and Nick requested their second. This charted regionally for them locally on WAMS in Wilmington, Delaware. The group is called Teddy and the Continentals, and Teddy, his name is Teddy Henry. He is on lead, and he wrote this tune. This is by request for Nick Nicola, July 1961. On the Ritchie label, Teddy and the Continentals. It's called Do You.
I wanna know, do you? Do you?
Do you love her as you say you do? Do you need her? Is your love for her true? But if you don't love her, please tell me, because I do. Love her, if you really care, you have my best of wishes and a sincere prayer. But if you don't love her, please tell me, because I do. Well, our love could have lasted, and I had no regrets, for I cared too much, and she cared much less. Though, darling, now you're gone, you're still my pet. That's why I'll never forget what love. If you love her, if you really care, you have my best of wishes and a
As by request for Nick Nicola, there, Teddy and the Continentals, July 1961 release on Vince Rago's Ritchie record label. Do You is the name of the tune. Teddy is Teddy Henry. He also wrote the tune. Now, my copy, I neglected to show it to you. I didn't have time. I was compiling the list. But my copy is a disc jockey copy, but distributed by Roulette Records. Morris Levy became involved with Vince on a bunch of releases. The Sinceres also, I think, was another one. But the true first press of this does not mention anything of Roulette distribution. Those would have been local to the Wilmington, Delaware area. So I don't have it that way. I do have that Sinceres as a local press, which is, they're rare. They really are. They were only released locally in the Wilmington, Delaware area. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue now. And on the last Vinyl Treasure Show, I did play a request for Nick by the Infatuators on the first press, the Destiny label out of Lorain, Ohio. The song was called I Found My Love. It was also picked up by VJ Records. So some of you may own the copy on VJ. But was listener Darrell Letts and George Tompkins asked if I could flip the 45 over. So we're going to give a listen to this side also, which is very good. So going out to George and Darrell, June 61, the Infatuators on Destiny. The side is called Where Are You?
I still remember the day when you walked out on me. You said you wanted to be free, but there's one thing I'd like to know, and that is, where are you? I've been walking the streets, hoping that somehow we would meet, but I see it's in vain that I seek. Still I'd like to know, where are you? You. We once made a vow. Yes, we vowed that we never part. But then you went and you broke that vow, and you also broke my heart. You can't eat a bite. I can't even sleep at night. There's only one thing on my mind, and that is, where are you? Oh, my darling, I adore you. Where are you? Yes, my lover, I implore you. Where are you? You. To answer this question, where are you? You. Where are you?
That's going out to Darrell and George. They're the Infatuators, June 1961. Great two-sided 45. Where Are You is the name of the tune. Came out on the Destiny label. The only bad thing about that record, it's on styrene. Yes, Reed, the VJ copy is on vinyl. At least mine is, unless I guess I'm sure it was pressed by Monarch. Also, you could have gotten that one there on a styrene. We continue. Here we are in the year 1961. Here's a request request for Nat Papagallo. This group is from the Bronx, New York. Two members of this group would go on to form the Rialtos that recorded for the CB label, but this song was played here in New York City on a WABC. This charted number 31 on WABC. This is by request for Nat. February 61, these are the Celebrities on Music Makers. It's called I Want You.
I want you to know that I love you so. Can't you see how much I care? Why treat me this way?
February 61 release there for the Celebrities on the Music Makers, a record label out of New York City by request for Nat. I Want You is the name of that tune. Very nice ballad there. Let's continue here for more. And last week I played The Quotations, their debut single on the Verve label, a request for Amnon, and probably their best known song. It was called Imagination. I think Amnon also likes the B-side, as does Daryl Letts and Andrew Turner. They asked if I could flip this 45 over, so we will do that right now. It features Larry Kassman on lead. So for Amnon, Andrew, and Daryl, we go back to November 1961. They're called The Quotations. This is on the Verve label. This is the B-side to their first record. It's called Alla Mensai, or C.
Standing on the corner, waiting for that girl. My heart, it skips a crazy beat. My head is in a whirl. Alla Mensai, Kande, it's Kibum, Timmy, Hi, Timmy, oh, Timmy, Ramba, Bump, Nigga, Nagga, Nigga, Nagga, Gammy, oh.
Since half past 3, don't you know you drive me wild? Feel just like a mixed up child. Loving you drives me insane. Baby, baby, you're to blame. When the words come out this way.
It's like I'm there, it's Kibum, Timmy, Hi, Timmy, oh, Timmy, Ramba, Bump, Nigga, Nagga, Nigga, Nagga, Gammy, oh.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the quotations. Larry Gassman and the quotations, November 61, the B-side to Imagination. Alimency is the name of the tune. It's on the Verve record label, going out to Amnon, Andrew, and Daryl. We continue here. In 1961, we head back out to California, and a request for Matey Campboy. This group is called the Atlantics, but on this tune, it's really a duo, and the singers, they are Phil Tucker and Delbert Franklin. This song written by Gaynell Hodge, ex-member of the Hollywood Flames, among other groups. So by request, going out to Matey. This one from August 61 on the Linda label. This is a styrene press. You know I hate styrene, but these are the Atlantics for Matey. It's called Boo Hoo Hoo.
I'm just a lonely guy. Don't know the reason why. I'm sad as I can be. My head is in a whirl. Because I lost my girl. My heart's in misery. My girl has left me. My girl's gone away. It's true, but it's so hard to find. I just can't get out of my mind. Everything happens to me. And it's so plain to see. My heart's in misery.
As by request for Matey Campboy, they're called the Atlantics. August 1961 on the on the Linda label. Boo Hoo Hoo is the name of the tune. Yes, George, that was also done on the Valhalla label by the Vikings, 1966. A later press, 5 years later, probably as a B-side. I forget the A-side of that record. I know Dave the Rave has that Viking 45 too, but not for that side, probably for the flip. But this group called the Atlantics, a tune written by Gaynell Hodge, and Reed did mention the Sachets also recorded this on the Alfie Zen label in October of 61. So their release came out after the Atlantics. Johnny G here spinning 45s out of the early 60s. Actually, I'm guessing that this next record is from 1962. Really couldn't, 61 or 62. And I'm pretty sure this 45 is out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know a lot of the Pittsburgh collectors like this song, and the label's called Three Rivers. Now, when I think of Three Rivers, I think of the Pittsburgh Steelers football stadium. Really, wasn't it called Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh? But the group is called Walt, some people think it's Walt Percy. No, it's Walt, Percy and the Tracers. And Walt is really Walt Roberson. and Percy is Percy Wharton, and they penned this tune, and this is actually a request for Evan Blatt. I'll have to listen to it on the archive. I'm guessing 62. It's on the Three Rivers label. Walt, Percy and the Tracers on Three Rivers. The tune is called Wishing, going out to Evan.
If we had the chance to start over, would it matter what happened before? Even though love broke your heart, oh, I know you'll do your part. Oh, to try, oh, to try to make
As by request for Evan Blatt there, I'm guessing 62. I get Nick to agree with me on the Three Rivers record label out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure. Walt, Percy and the Tracers and their tune Wishing. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we wind down. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 45s to go, and that'll probably take me to about the next with that 7, that's about 15 minutes or so we'll be done shortly here. But we're going to continue with the requests as we head back out to California, as this group formed at Dorsey High School in Los Angeles, California by Charles Ingersoll and Bobby Sanders. They were known as the Extremes. This is on Sid Talmadge's Paro label out of LA, California, and this is a request for my #1 California listener, Matey Campoy. It features Bobby Sanders on lead, and he also wrote this tune. We go back to November of 1962. Give a listen to the Extremes on the Paro label. It's called The Bells.
Church house, where we used to
yes, someone that's true to take the place of me for a night. You find someone new to take the place of me.
That's by request from A.D. Camp. Boy, those are the extremes. Bobby Sanders on lead there, November 1962 on the Paro label. Song entitled The Bells. Let's continue here. And a couple weeks ago, I played a request for George Tompkins. He requested Ronnie Cates and the Travelers on Jack Gold's Terrace label. The song was called Long Time. That initially came out in September of 1961, flipped with Old Man River, which might have been the A-side if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, but as the flip. But then a year later, in September of 1962, Terrace reissued again Long Time and flipped it with a different song, and that is the request for George Tompkins. We go back to September of 1962 on the Terrace label. This is the harder of the two to find for some reason. I don't know why, but this is Ronnie Cates. No mention of the Travelers, though, on either side of this. This is by request for George. Ronnie Cates with the tune called For My Very Own.
Each time I see your face before me, I get a thrill I'll never know. To hear you whisper you adore me, then all the world is mine alone. You know, baby, how I love you. You know, baby, how I need you. You know, baby, how I want you for my very own. Yeah, yeah. The way your lips meet mine so sweetly, I feel my every dream come true. The way you give your love completely, I bless the day I found you. You know, baby, I love you. You know, baby, I need you. You know, baby, I want you for my very own. Now come on, baby, come on back to me. Yeah, 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 baby, I need you, baby. Now come on, come on back to me. Yeah, 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 baby, I need you, baby. Now come on, mama, come on now, baby.
As by request for a George Tompkins there. Great tune, great two-sided 45, Ronnie Cates. No mention of the Travelers there. September 1962 release on the Terrace label. For My Very Own is the name of the tune, and that is the second issue. That is a harder one to find. I first heard that on I think Ronnie I put out those German CDs made in Germany quote, we'll say, but that's the first time I heard it when that CD came out. Anyway, we're winding down here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Got a request for listener Cheryl Morgan. I have no information on this artist. They are known as Dante, Dontay, and the Infernos, and it's on a label called Harlan, Harlan. I think it's out of California, because it is a styrene press with the Monarch, I think the Monarch Deltas. But I have this as a promo and a stock. I don't know where I got these, and don't ask me why I have two. But both sides here are written by someone by the name of Laura Butts, if that means anything. But anyway, Cheryl tells me that she used to hear at least her requests on the radio, and she had them on a cassette or on a tape, and the tape was destroyed, so she's trying to remember what she had on that tape from records that she heard on the radio. So anyway, we're going to send this one out to Cheryl Morgan, September 1963, Dante and the Infernos on the Harlan label. It's called I Cry in the Night. That's by request for Cheryl Morgan there, September 1963, Dante and the Infernos on the Harlan, Harlan record label, I Cry in the Night. Johnny G, hopefully not making anybody cry tonight, but let's continue here as we head to Philadelphia, PA for this next request, and it's another girl group requested by my number one California listener, Matey Campboy. This group consisted of Sheila Ferguson, Jeannie Scott, Yvonne Brown and another gal they can't remember by the name of Barbara. Collectively, they were called the Kittens, and this is the first of three they did on Don White's Donnell record label. And even though Charlene couldn't find the lead, she says that she's almost certain that Sheila Ferguson is doing lead on this. So this is going out to Matey Campboy, October 1963 on the Donnell label. Give a listen to the Kittens. The song is called I Need Your Love Tonight. That's a great girl group sound there by request from Matey Campboy. They're called the Kittens, October 1963. That's on the Donnell record label. That's the first of three on Donnell. Their first release came out on the Chestnut label. I have that 45 on Chestnut Records. Let's continue here. Three more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next group, they're out of Chicago, Illinois. They were discovered by Gene Chandler, and this song written by Bernice Williams. I mentioned Bernice Williams earlier with the Charmettes. She was co-writer for the Charmettes' School Letter, but she wrote this song here for this group called The Accents. This is their debut single. Their debut single came out on the Mercury record label with the Riley Hampton Orchestra. It features James Zeke Brown on lead. We go back to July of 1963. Give a listen to The Accents on the Mercury label. It's called Enchanted Garden.
Enchanted garden, garden of love, under your spell, my tender heart fell for love that was magic and ended up breaking.
enchanted garden. Spell that you cast has ended too fast. Your soft breezes sighing have left my heart crying. Oh, love, yeah, she left me crying for love. Just listen to the sounds you make to draw another candidate to rise. Just listen to the sounds you make to draw another candidate to rise. Well, do you, enchanted garden? I'm through with love. I'm through with love.
Baby,
Never again, no, no, no.
baby,
I'm through with love.
no.
Never again, no, no more.
July 66 release there. They're called The Accents. It's on the Mercury record label. That's their debut single called Enchanted Garden. James Zeke Brown is on lead. This is the same group that had releases on the MPAC record label and also the Wonderful label. That is the same group there. Anyway, two more 45s to go here before we count down here. Charlene, did you see my I Am? As let's go back out to California here, and this label called Duco Records out of California, division of Rayco Records. This is a request for Nick Nicola, and this artist goes by the name of Tony Lamar. I think this is his first release. Came out in June of 1964. I remember Chris Farellis sold me this 45 a long, long time ago, and it's a request for listener Nick Nicola. We go back to June 1964 on the Duco record label. This is Tony Lamar and his tune called Come Out Tonight.
Come out tonight. Oh, come out tonight. Oh, come out tonight. Oh, I love you. I love you. Over and over and calling.
That's by request for Nick Nicola there. Tony Lamar and Group, June 1964 release on the Duco record label out of California. Come out tonight. What a cool tune that is. He has other releases. Two on, what is that? 5-4 Records, Charlene. Another one on Go-Go. Oh, yeah, I have that one on the Go-Go label. I wonder what that sounds like. I have to check it out. So many records I have in these white boxes here that I have filed away that I have to check out. That'll happen in retirement. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Also, I've already got requests for next week's show, so please send me your requests. I might have to limit some of the requests as I go because I'm getting so many between the flip sides and everything else. I can't go on longer. It's already pretty late as it is, but I really like I get lost in my show because the time goes by so fast. I don't know. It's just, anyway, I just hope you guys are digging on the show too. I get enjoyment from playing the records. This is really the only time that I can listen to all my records. But anyway, I have fun every Saturday night to do this for you guys, and with Charlene's help, I set Friday night and into Saturday all day to prepare for the show, and I looked at records today. I left around 1 o'clock. I went to look at some 45s I purchased, so you got to stay tuned for the next show. I'll be playing some of those next week. But our closer tonight is a pretty rare 45 on Danny Robinson's Vest label. He resurrected the label, I think, in 64. I have a couple records on this label, more on the soulful side. But there's a pretty rare group record on here by the Mustangs, and a new listener, Larry P. Actually, I received an email on 45 Cat, because I go on 45 Cat and I look at I look for some of the research there, and I try for dates. I look for Cashbox and Billboard and other notes, some pretty cool information that people know about the copyright and the labels, etc. So there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there. Some of the dates, they're not correct, and you got all types of people on 45 Cat, but some are very knowledgeable, like Reed. Reed is very knowledgeable, and he shows a lot of cool stuff and comments that he puts. So those are the people you want to check out. But he asked me for if I could do an MP3. I don't have time to do MP3s. So many people, do I want to sell my records? And I say, no, they're not for sale, not yet. If I have a duplicate, they're for sale. But I said to this listener, I said, well, if you want to listen to the song, I'll play it. It's 65, so that's going to be at the end of my, the end of my 50s and 60s show, because it's more on the doo-wop side, I guess, for the other side, which is a nice version of Over the Rainbow. But a new listener, Larry P., requested the flip side, which is actually a cool dance song. So this is by request, our closer tonight, 1965 on the Vest label. The group is called the Mustangs, probably out of New York City, and the song is called Loop the Fly. This is for Larry P., hopefully a new listener here to the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's our closer tonight. That's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show. It all begins for Dave tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, 9 to midnight, right here on Top Shelf Oldies. I'll be back next Saturday again at 10 o'clock for more of your requests, so send them to me, and more cool sides out of my collection. So I like to mix and match all the stuff, and I get the enjoyment of doing it. So anyway, I apologize for my coughs with the pollen, although it could be what's called silent reflux. If you ever heard of silent acid reflux, because that's what the doctor told me I could have. It's possible. But anyway, Andy Lamusio, he told me to take those, I take these Zarbees, which are pretty good. I didn't take one tonight, though. Anyway, thank you so much, folks. Thank you, Charlene, for all your help. And I want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday night at 10 o'clock. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Well, this is a new dance called Loop the Fly. Well,
Whoops. Sorry for the cough, folks, at the end of that record. Anyway, let me show you the labels there. Let's see here. Here's that Duco record. It's nice, nice copy here. There you go. Tony Lamar. Daryl, you said he was in that Kilts 45, which I have to play, by the way, on the Gay Note record label. I have to check, but that's the Tony Lamar record. It's a nice copy. It's from '64, and this is the this is a hard record, really, on the Vest label. It's Danny Robinson's Vest label. Usually, what's played is this side. It's an up-tempo version of Over the Rainbow. There's a number of records in this time period that are. I think I have the Cardinals. Nick, you know that one. The Cardinals is it on Rose? I think that's another hard record. There's a couple from the mid 1960s that are pretty good. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in as I enjoy it again, like I said. And thank you, Charlene, again for all your help. And again, I'll be back next Saturday. I'm going to go relax a little bit now. And again, I will be back next Saturday with more of your requests. So send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com and we'll go from there. Be safe, everyone. Take care. I'll see you next Saturday. And take care now. Bye-bye.